In March 1954, residents of Bellingham, Washington began documenting a highly specific form of property damage. Across the city, small dime-sized pits and craters began appearing on the windshields of parked and moving automobiles. Local police initially categorized the incidents as a localized wave of vandalism, suspecting juveniles armed with BB guns. Within days, however, the geographic distribution of the damage expanded far beyond Bellingham, moving rapidly south to strike neighboring communities like Cedro Woolley, Mount Vernon, and Anacortes. Law enforcement responded by establishing roadblocks and physically searching thousands of vehicles for weapons or projectiles, but they found absolutely nothing. Authorities were entirely unable to produce a suspect, facing an active, escalating pattern of physical destruction, operating without any detectable perpetrator. By mid-April, the anomaly crossed into metropolitan Seattle, registering thousands of calls to police dispatch logs within a matter of hours. The localized damage evolved into a widespread panic. Motorists actively halted traffic, flagging down police cruisers in busy intersections to report the spontaneous, ongoing destruction of their vehicles' glass. The physical infrastructure of Washington's largest city began to buckle, leaving conventional civic authorities effectively paralyzed. The complete absence of a human culprit forced both the public and local officials to generate increasingly complex hypotheses to explain the physical evidence. Initial speculation focused on electromagnetic waves from the Jim Creek Naval radio station, physically oscillating the glass until it fractured, which the Navy quickly refuted. Explanations then shifted toward environmental and biological theories, with residents proposing that sudden bursts of cosmic rays were penetrating the atmosphere, or that microscopic sand flea eggs mixed into the glass during manufacturing were now hatching simultaneously. The terror peaked with the introduction of a geopolitical variable. A growing consensus among Seattle residents concluded the pits were the result of invisible radioactive fallout drifting across the Pacific from the military's recent Castle Bravo hydrogen bomb test at Bikini Atoll. In less than 30 days, the perceived threat model had mutated from local teenagers with air rifles to a global, apocalyptic atmospheric event. Citizens began covering thousands of cars in cardboard and heavy wool blankets. Panic eventually infected the investigators themselves as police officers radioed in that their own patrol car windshields were pitting and bubbling before their eyes while in transit. The situation reached a critical threshold on April 15th. Facing a terrified population, Mayor Alan Pomeroy officially declared an emergency, requesting immediate intervention from the Governor of Washington and the White House. In response, Governor Arthur Langley deployed researchers from the University of Washington's Environmental Research Laboratory, pairing them with Sergeant Max Allison of the Seattle Police Crime Lab. To test age, mileage, and exposure, the team established a field laboratory at local car lots. They found severe pitting on older driven vehicles, but brand new vehicles with 0 miles parked in the exact same environment had absolutely pristine glass. A chemical analysis of the strange dark ash found on pitted windshields confirmed the substance was ordinary coal dust, a particulate that had been coating Seattle vehicles for decades due to local industry. The physical evidence left no room for ambiguity. The glass was never under attack, and every pit, crater, and ding analyzed was caused by standard road wear. Sergeant Allison delivered the official forensic verdict to the press, concluding the epidemic was comprised of 5% hoodlumism and 95% public hysteria. The researchers identified a perceptual glitch where media coverage instructed the brain to look at the glass rather than through it, causing motorists to suddenly register old damage as a new, immediate threat. Once the scientific report explained this mechanism, emergency dispatch logs flatlined. By April 17th, the epidemic simply ceased to exist. The physical environment of 1954 Seattle remained entirely static throughout the month of April. No weapons were fired, no insects hatched, and no radiation fell. The panic was generated entirely by the vulnerability of human attention, proving that the most terrifying anomalies exist strictly in the minds of the observers.